You're broke. Not skipping coffee broke. 3 months behind on rent, phone cut off, eating rice every night broke. You grew up in South Naples. You know how the city breathes. You know which corners belong to which men. You've always kept your head down, stayed out of it. Until the night Marco Esposito slides an envelope across the bar and says 4 words, "We need a driver." That's it. That's all. You're not asked to hurt anyone. You're not asked to carry a gun. You just drive a black Alfa Romeo from Via Toledo to the port at 2 a.m. and park it outside Warehouse 9. Leave the keys on the seat, walk away. Don't look back. You do it in 11 minutes. 3 days later, another envelope appears under your apartment door. 2,000 euros in cash. For 11 minutes of driving. You hold the money for a long time. You think about your mother, your rent, the electricity bill. You tell yourself it's just driving. Marco calls you again, this time in person. He takes you to a restaurant in Posulipo, waterfront, white tablecloths, men in suits who speak quietly and laugh loudly. Nobody looks at you like you don't belong. That's the first thing you notice. You feel seen, respected, like something shifted. Over seafood and red wine, Marco explains the next job. You drive again, but this time there's a man in the back seat. You don't ask his name. You don't look in the mirror. You take him to a building in the Quartieri Spagnoli, wait 40 minutes, and drive him back. The man says nothing the entire ride, but when he gets out, he puts a hand on your shoulder. Good boy. 5,000 euros next morning. You notice something dangerous starting to happen. You stop being scared. They trust you now. Trust in this world isn't a feeling, it's a transaction, and they've decided you're worth investing in. The next job involves a package. Black duffel bag, heavy, locked. You don't open it. You already know the rule. Never open it. You drive it from a villa outside Caserta to a contact in Rome. 6 hours on the autostrada. You stop once for fuel. You don't eat. You don't call anyone. You arrive. Exchange the bag for a handshake and a phone number. Drive back. Report to Marco. He nods slowly. Then he says something that changes everything. You're not a driver anymore. You ask what you are now. He just smiles and pours you a drink. That night, you clean your apartment for the first time in months. You don't know why. Maybe because you suddenly feel like someone worth living cleanly for. Or maybe because part of you knows what's coming, and you want one last night of being just a person. They give you a name, not yours, a name within the organization. Il Silenzioso, the silent one. In Naples, a name like that isn't an insult, it's a credential. They introduce you to men you've seen on the news, men whose last names are whispered, never spoken out loud, men who built empires from nothing and buried anyone who threatened them. You shake hands, you remember faces, you learn the structure. There's the boss, then the underboss, then the caporegimes, the captains. Below them, the soldiers, and below soldiers, there are people like you. Useful people, loyal people, disposable people if it comes to that, but you don't think about that part. They give you a real assignment now. Not driving, not packages. Surveillance. You follow a man named Carmine Ferrara for 2 weeks. Mid-50s, lives in Padioli, Rome. Leaves for coffee at 7:15 every morning. Takes the same route. Eats at the same trattoria on Thursdays. Has a driver named Enzo who he trusts completely. You write everything down. Times, patterns, faces, weak points. You hand in the report like a school assignment. Marco reads it, nods, looks up. Good. Now we move to the next part. You ask what the next part is. He slides a photograph across the table. It's Carmine Ferrara. He goes away, Marco says simply. You've known this was coming since level 1. Somewhere in the back of your mind, behind the money and the feeling of belonging, you always knew You pick up the photograph. You don't say yes, but you don't say no. And in this world, silence means yes. Nobody tells you it feels like nothing. That's the part they leave out of every movie. It doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel powerful. It just feels like a decision made in a split second that cannot be unmade for the rest of your life. Carmine Ferrara, Thursday morning, outside his usual trattoria. You're already there before he arrives. You've rehearsed this 17 times in your head. He steps out of the car. Enzo holds the door. Carmine adjusts his jacket. You walk past him once, twice, and on the third pass, it's done. You keep walking, turn the corner, remove your jacket, walk 6 blocks to a parked car, drive to the outskirts of the city, burn the clothes in a metal drum near an abandoned farmhouse. You drive back to Naples. You shower. You sit on your bed. You stare at the wall for 2 hours. Then Marco calls. Clean? Clean, you say. Good. Come for dinner. You go for dinner. You eat lamb and drink Barolo and laugh at someone's joke. The men around the table treat you differently now. There's a weight to how they look at you, a gravity. You've crossed a line that has no return side. And the money, when it arrives, is 50,000 euros. You don't sleep that night, or the next, but by the third night, you do. And that frightens you more than anything. 6 months pass. You have a new apartment, 3rd floor, Chiaia district, overlooking the sea. Marble floors, a wardrobe full of clothes you never imagined owning, a car that costs more than your family earned in a decade. You've done 3 more jobs, each one easier than the last. You don't think of them as people anymore. You've built a wall. On one side, the world. On the other, the work. You never let them mix. Marco introduces you to the inner circle. The boss's name is Salvatore Ricci, 63 years old, white hair, small, intelligent eyes. He shakes your hand for 5 seconds too long, the way powerful men do when they're measuring you. I've heard good things, he says. I try to be useful, you say. He smiles. More than useful, you're precise. Precision is rare. He offers you a role. Not just jobs, a permanent position, a seat at the table, a percentage of operations. The number he quotes makes your mouth go dry. You say yes. Of course you say yes. But that night, standing on your balcony, watching the lights of Naples glitter across the water, you feel something you haven't felt in months. Fear. Not of them, of yourself, of how easy it's all become. You run a crew now. 4 men. You assign the jobs, you verify the targets, you report to Marco, who reports to Ricci. The money flows upward, and a generous cut flows back down. You're 28 years old, and you control more of Naples than the police commissioner. But power has a smell, and other men can smell it. A rival faction from Secondigliano start making noise. Territory disputes. 2 of your men are followed. Someone leaves a message, a dead bird on your car hood. You tell Marco. Marco tells Ricci. Ricci looks at you from across his desk for a very long time. Handle it, he says. This is different. This isn't surgical precision. This is war, and wars leave evidence. Wars create heat, police investigations, journalists, attention. You lie awake at night running through scenarios. For the first time in a year, you feel genuinely afraid. You go through with it anyway, because the alternative is worse. The streets go quiet after that, but so does something inside you. There's a detective. Her name is Ispettore Giulia Romano, 41, DIA, Direzione Investigativa Antimafia. She's been watching the Ricci organization for 3 years. You find out about her through a contact inside the police department. She has photographs of you, surveillance footage, a file 6 inches thick. She knows your name, your apartment, your routines, your face. She doesn't have enough for an arrest, not yet. You tell Marco. Marco tells Ricci. Ricci looks at you from across his desk for a very long time. "Solve the problem," he says. You go cold. You've killed before, you've crossed lines before, but this is different. She's law enforcement. This isn't a rival or a debt unpaid. This is a declaration of war against the state. If she disappears, the entire DIA comes down on Naples, federal level, international cooperation. You tell Ricci this. He doesn't blink. "I didn't ask for your analysis. I asked for a solution." You leave the meeting. You drive to the water. You sit there for 3 hours. For the first time, you think about the exit, if there is even one. You think about everything you've become, what you've done, who you've erased. And for the first time, you wonder if you're next. You start to see patterns. Men in the organization who disappeared, not killed by enemies, vanished internally. Men who asked too many questions, men who showed signs of hesitation, men like you're showing right now. You reach out, quietly, to someone you haven't spoken to in 2 years, a childhood friend who became a lawyer, off the books, just a conversation. He listens. He goes pale. He says one thing: "If you don't get out now, you don't get out ever." And getting out means giving them something. He means the DIA. He means Romano. You sit in your car outside his office for 40 minutes. Everything you've built, everything you are now, gone. Witness protection, a new name in a city you've never heard of, living small and quiet and afraid for the rest of your life. Versus this: power, money, brotherhood, and a bullet eventually, because that's where every story in this world ends. You already know what you're going to do. You've known since you sat by the water. The question is whether you can do it fast enough. You meet Romano, not in a police station, in a church in Mergellina on a Tuesday afternoon when it's almost empty. You leave your phone in the car. You sit in a back pew and wait. She arrives alone. She sits beside you. She doesn't say anything at first. Then, "I wondered when you'd come." You hand her a USB drive. 3 years of operations, names, accounts, locations, safe houses, the Secondigliano executions, every job you've ever been assigned, your own file included. She looks at it, looks at you. You know what this means. I know. You'll have to testify. You'll never come back to Naples. I know. And men you know will die in prison. You stare at the altar, the gold, the silence, the years of your life collapsing into this one moment in a church that smells like candles and old wood. I know, you say for the 3rd time. She closes her hand around the drive. You walk out of the church. The light outside is brutal. The city goes on around you, the traffic, the noise, the smell of coffee and exhaust and sea. Naples, your Naples. You take one last look. You are no longer you. New name, new city, a flat in Turin with thin walls and neighbors you'll never know. A government stipend, a caseworker who checks in once a month, a phone that you're told is secure and that you never fully trust. 14 men are convicted. Ricci gets 26 years. Marco gets 19. 2 men from the organization are never found. You sleep with the light on. You get a job, something small and invisible. Bookkeeping for a logistics company. You wear plain clothes, you take the tram, you eat lunch alone. People pass you on the street and see nothing. A quiet man, an ordinary face. They have no idea. Some nights you sit at your window and think about that first envelope, 2,000 euros, 11 minutes of driving. the moment the story started. You think about Carmine Ferrara adjusting his jacket outside the trattoria. You think about what you became. You wonder if you're the victim, the villain, or just a person who made one choice and then couldn't stop making the same one. The answer changes depending on the night. But here's the truth nobody tells you about this world. The exit doesn't feel like freedom. It just feels like a different kind of cage. You stare at the Turin skyline. You close the curtain. You go to sleep with the light on.